pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Okay, roll call. Floyd.
Here.
Dave.
Here.
Brenda. Yes, here. And Jimmy. That's looking bad. All here but Gavin. Maybe he'll be late. And then the attorney's present. Next is approval of the minutes for November's meeting.
Need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. I need a second.
I'll second.
Floyd seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree?
I wasn't here for
So, okay, Dave wasn't here, he's not voting on it. Review and approve of claims, please.
I have a question on
Okay.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Locksmith and key entry to old fire station. What way are you wanting repaid for that when you cut the lock off?
I don't need to be paid for it. I want to let's just start right now.
Okay.
Our town taxpayers paid you all $400,000 fire department. All right, you moved out of the old city building, which we pay taxes on, and you took all your stuff except 4 freezers and 4 things to fry eggs and hamburgers and stuff on, and some trash and stuff in there. And then I tried to get a key, and Mr. Cave down there tried to get a key, and everybody gave us a runaround on the key.
I had a key, and I'm over the fire department.
Are you over the fire department? Do you think the taxpayers of Redkey ought to pay 2 water bills and 2 gas bills and 2 light bills for 2 fire departments when you got a $400,000 fire department down there? Now, if you're a taxpayer, I don't like paying that taxes for 2 gas bills and you only pay one.
You took it upon yourself to cut the lock, right?
I told Kate, stand up.
Who told Mr. Cage?
Just a minute. Kate, stand up a minute.
Stand up?
Yeah. Did I tell you to call Randy Young and get the keys up at the city building?
Yeah, I called Randy.
All right, what did Randy tell you?
Randy had told me, well, not the beginning. At first he just said he wanted you to call him, and I talked to him about that, and then talked to him again about it, and it was still the same. Couldn't get a key with him, and then found out later he had asked Floyd, and Floyd told him not to give the key.
To me or you? Yeah.
Okay, now bring.
That was Randy's reasoning.
Was you called about the key to the city building, up there? Did anybody call you about the key, getting the key to the old city building?
Randy texted me and said that they talked to Floyd and the fire department made a decision that said that that the council didn't need a key. So Randy, I have the text message on my phone that Randy said we didn't need a key.
Okay, did I call you and talk to you about getting into this old city building?
Yeah, and we were gonna vote on it, and even Gavin said that he was okay with getting a locksmith. So you said it was okay to get a locksmith, Gavin said, and I said that if we voted on it and they didn't give us a key, that we would get a locksmith and we would get into this, the building, yes.
Okay, Mr. Levin, would you please stand up? Did I talk to you over there at the gazebo about getting the key to get into the old city building?
Yes, you did.
What did you tell me?
I told you I was not authorized to give you a key.
Is that what you said?
That's exactly what I said.
I asked if you had a key, you said yes, didn't you?
I did.
And I asked you, could I get the key?
You told me to go out to Citadel and make a key right then, while I was in the middle of setting
I
up
did
some
not.
Christmas
I asked you for
decorations.
the key. And you told me you'd have to talk to somebody.
Right?
And who did you talk to?
I didn't talk to anybody at that point.
Okay.
I talked to
You
Randy
never
later
gave me no
on.
key, did you?
I did not.
We were denied the key. We were
I was
denied the key.
from you, I was denied the key from Randy Young, I was denied the key, but I didn't call you, you was over the fire department. Now, I tell you what, I called Mr. You about.
That doesn't give you the right to cut
Just
a
a
key off
minute.
a lock to a building. That's
No,
what.
no, just a minute. I called you in February about getting in the old fire department, you said, come on up there, it's open. I went up there, it was locked.
But
It was locked.
If you'd asked me to come up and let you, I'd have let you
Oh,
in.
is that
But I'm not
right?
gonna give you a key, Jerry.
Here's the thing, it does belong to the city, it belongs to the town, and we are allowed to have keys to the
We
building.
got
I
keys to
disagree
it
with
now.
Oh, I'm sorry,
We
that is
got
the way it
keys now.
is.
So you think you got the business of being in that clerk's office up here, right?
I'm only in the clerk's office when the clerk is there, I would never go in the clerk's
So
office.
but you want keys to everything, right? Even the city.
No, I
building,
wanted
right?
her to have keys to everything in the safe, Dave, and we do have keys to everything, including the fire department.
You ain't got no business in that car.
Town.
We have a key.
That does not belong to you.
It
belongs
belongs to
fire department.
the town, Dave.
No,
It
that fire
does.
department belongs to.
You got it.
Fire
It
department.
belongs to the town.
Here.
Mark.
So here's my opinion on it, for what it's worth, and this is just my personal opinion. I know most of the firemen feel the same way, but we didn't talk about me coming up to represent the fire department. So my personal opinion, and some of the background of this, so when we went to get a grant for the new fire station, the original grant proposal was for $500,000. That included an extra bay to that fire department. That would be some room that we could use for storage. Whenever we went through 2 or 3 rounds of grants and got denied the first couple of times, whenever we finally got the grant, it was for $400,000. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hit you in the head.
Oh,
I'm gonna
no,
scoot
you
over here
didn't.
so I don't.
You didn't.
So, obviously the town didn't have an extra $100,000 to put that extra bay on that was in the original plans. So the town council at that time agreed to let us use us as the fire department, use the old fire station for storage. Every town council from that time until this past year has been fine with that. We completely understand that the town owns that building. We don't disagree with that at all. And it's like I told you the other day, the way I see it, it's no different than a storage unit. So if you guys have a storage unit out here at the Locking Store, the owner of that storage unit doesn't have a key to your storage area. To me, that old fire department was the same way. And we've never been told why you guys want a key other than just the power trip that you guys are the owners of it. If somebody wants to come up and say, hey, we've got an idea that we want to do something with this fire department for the town, we would be more than happy to talk to anybody about doing that and trying to work out a deal, figure out how we can store things and use it for a good purpose. But nobody's ever done that. It's just, I own the building, I want a key. If you go out there in a storage unit, you're not gonna have, the storage unit owner's not gonna have a key to your stuff.
Here's the thing, Mark, we've been getting all kinds of people to come and give estimates to have that building refurbished.
And
We should not have to contact one of you guys to let them guys in. We should not have to do that. We can share a key, we're all on the same team, we're all here for Redkey, and we're not gonna steal the fire department stuff.
There's 2 town board members that have keys, and have had keys.
And you know that there's a lot of friction between all the town council members, so.
Yes, I
you
know, and there's now,
That's not gonna happen.
and now there's friction between the fire department and the town council.
Because you guys decided to take everything out because you thought that one of us council members was going to sabotage the stuff in there
Because
of
somebody
the
broke
fire
into it.
department.
Somebody-
Didn't break into it.
Broke the lock.
Got a locksmith, and
Yes.
cut a lock to get in. And
Break it
got
in.
into a storage area that contains sensitive documents from past crimes, that not even the fire department members have a key to that.
And I talked to you today about having what they call HIPAA stuff in there, and what did you tell me about why there would be HIPAA stuff in there?
I said if they did BLS runs, there could be medical information.
But they
Which I
have their
assume
own
you
fire
did.
department, so it should have not been in the old building, it should have been in the new building.
Nobody ever made that request to us.
Mr. Level,
We didn't know what was in
and
there,
there-
Mark, because
and-
we don't correlate, we don't all get along, that's what we need to do, is
And
start
we've always
getting
been more
along.
than happy to take anybody in through that old fire department. You've been in there with Dave.
One time,
The
yep,
person, there's one person on this town board that has a history with the fire department that thinks that we stole their land and thinks that has taken us to court, 2 or 3 of the officers to court. Yes, we're a little
Do you
bit
have
concerned
deed
about
to-
that person having a key to our storage.
do you have a deed to the new Florida
That
building?
would be the town.
Huh?
That would be the town.
All right, does the town have a deed to it?
the lawyer has the quit claim deeds to those lands.
Let me read it.
If I can make a recommendation, sure,
Yeah.
President Redkey, I suggest you schedule a meeting offline between 1 or 2 representatives of the council and the fire department and work out this arrangement.
They've already moved all their stuff out. They don't have anything in there anymore, so they don't need keys to it anymore. They've
Well-
taken everything out.
Record's still in there, aren't they?
No, they
No.
are all out.
As soon as the locks were changed, we went up a few days later and took the majority of our stuff out. We've got it stored a little bit of everywhere right now, because we don't have room for it.
But-
The records were taken up to.
Randy's office is standing wide open, right?
Yes.
Door.
Well, I shouldn't say that. The last time I was in there, yes, it was. We do still have some old, like some trophies, and there's some old, like vintage fire equipment and things like that that are still in there. And then obviously we have
The old fire truck's in there.
the old Diamond T is in there, and the new truck that we just got from SB19
It's
is in
only
there.
45 feet wide.
Mr. Cave, so when you left, you were there the whole time with Jimmy and the locksmith, correct? Did you guys leave anything unlocked in that fire department so that it could be gotten into?
The door that he's talking about
Not the town.
isn't an outside door. It's not an outside door. The door they're talking about is not an outside door. There was no way.
So nobody from the outside could get in, so it wasn't
No.
left on its own.
The door that they're talking about is a door in between. So if you walk into a door, what they're talking about, Randy's office.
The old city building.
Right. There's another door after that that separates that and the fire station. That door they said was left open, correct? Okay.
But Randy checked his key to the outside lock to his office, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, because it
Yeah,
was
that was the
changed.
one that was changed.
Okay,
Yes.
when me and you went to the old fire station, and we went upstairs, was there one door locked and one door open?
Yes.
And what was in there when we went in that upstairs building on the left-hand side when the door was unlocked?
There was several air tanks. There was just miscellaneous.
Did you say that that door should be locked?
Yeah, I was surprised it wasn't locked.
I was too.
But
It has been locked in the past, as an item.
It has been in the past, but it has been unlocked for quite a while.
Okay.
Okay, did you mean you, when we went up there and we couldn't get in, was the lights on? And the sheriff's and the old police station's thing, was the lights on?
Yeah, when we
Didn't
went
you
there,
talk about
at
that?
one point there was a light left on and what they.
Lord, how long has that light been on?
I couldn't tell you, I don't go up
It was
there.
over the fire department.
It's a motion activated
Was it
lock.
on over a year?
I couldn't tell you that.
There hasn't been lights in there for over, consistently for over a year.
Well, it was on, wasn't it, Kay?
There is a motion activated light that comes on.
No, it was the police, the old police station's light, just like these right here.
So the old
Me and him
office,
both spotted that, you could see that.
the old office,
Okay,
Where do
we'll
you
need a
police
meeting
get the office
specifically
used to
to
be?
flush out.
We're getting off track here.
names and
Okay,
The thing is, you had no right to
She
cut
said,
that lock.
Hey, listen,
Order.
order.
she said we're gonna
Jimmy,
get together.
order. Yeah, we're gonna
Get
schedule a meeting between a couple people from the fire department and a couple people from the council, and we're gonna work something out with this.
When do you wanna
matter.
schedule?
Well, let's let Mark go back to the fire department. You can call me and let me know. We'll pick a couple people from the council and a couple people from the fire department, and we'll work this out.
Tell you what's
We're
gonna
moving on.
happen, you're gonna make these people upset and they're gonna walk, and you want to.
Moving on. Okay, so next thing.
So the
So-
pending business was the approval
No,
of claims.
no.
And there was concern over a specific claim, which is what brought this up. Are you making a motion to remove that
Mark,
from the bills?
there has,
Yes, it should be removed, we shouldn't be paying for
does this
it.
have to have
You
an
shouldn't be
invoice?
paying for pavers for a
I have an
resident's
invoice for
property.
that.
either.
You have a receipt, you haven't done an invoice.
I have
I'm gonna
a
bring that up
invoice
too.
where he paid for that.
That's a receipt.
Yeah, it says locksmith made it out saying he unlocked it
It's not an
and
invoice.
Jimmy paid it. What's the difference between an invoice and a
It has to be
receipt?
an itemized statement. What do you get?
Or there was an
Mark?
itemized
Floyd
statement.
has
Yeah.
moved to remove that specific line item from the claims. Is there a second to that motion?
Yes.
I'll make it for you.
You want the claim of, do you understand what he's talking about?
What are
He's
you
making
talking
a
about?
motion
You're not gonna
that,
get paid for it.
he's
That's what
making
we're
a motion
talking about, Floyd.
that we don't pay the locksmith, that it gets nicer. Are
I
you
paid the
set?
locksmith, is paid, the bill's paid.
You paid him out of your own
I
pocket?
don't care, I
Yeah.
paid out of my own pocket.
Okay,
That's a
so
gift
it's
of-
already paid for, so it's not,
Redkey.
it can't be removed if it's already paid for by somebody else, right? But the town didn't pay for it. Jimmy paid for it out of his own pocket.
This is authorizing expenditures, whether they been made or to be made in the future, the clerk treasurer needs her claims approved each month.
I turned that's
So
on the
the
claim
claim must
list.
be for reimbursement. And you have a pending motion, you need to take a vote as to whether that's being removed from the claims docket.
It should be.
I'll make the motion.
Well, it's already been moved and
Floyd
seconded,
made
it's
the
an all in
motion.
favor.
Who seconded it?
Dave seconded it.
You seconded it?
How do you,
Hey, I said I bought the key, that's a Christmas present to the town. So that's it.
so let's take a roll call vote. We know that Floyd, Dave,
Okay, what are we voting on? I want to-
The
taking
removal
it
of
off
that
of, taking
claim
it
from
off
the
of the
docket.
claim.
And he's not gonna be reimbursed, correct?
You're gonna remove it from the claims.
As long as it's worded that way.
So how do you vote, Jimmy?
I vote to remove it from the claim.
Then you're not gonna be reimbursed.
I don't want reimbursed, that's a Christmas present to the town.
Well, I vote no. So, it's passed though.
Okay, so now you vote on the remaining claims with that one having been
All right,
removed
so-
from the register.
I need a motion
I make
to,
a motion, we pay all the claims except the key.
what about the pavers that Floyd bought for somebody's house down on Bell Street without getting any approval from the
That's
council?
Trudy Coffin, and you agreed to that one.
No, I
You
didn't
don't
agree to
fix
that.
the- He was down there, Brendan said he's gonna.
Dave,
fix
I
the
was not down there.
Down there on Bell Island, you and I sit down there with Trudy Coffin and Pam Nichols, and you said you was gonna fix the sidewalk for that lady.
No,
About
I
6
did not.
months
I
ago.
said, no, I did not.
Randy, you understand there and you said it.
Dave, you're not telling the truth.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, why didn't I fix it months ago then? What happened,
That's it.
what happened is the pipeline came in and dug up her stuff and it caused it to flood.
Okay, then I
And-
make a motion to fix Trudy Coffin's sidewalk.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to fix Trudy, it's after the fact, Trudy Kaufman's sidewalk.
What's
We're-
wrong with
Wait,
it?
wait, wait a minute,
You
wait.
ain't got nothing
I
in
am totally
this.
I got
confused.
a question.
You ain't got nothing in it.
It's not public debate. What is the claim?
I have to find it.
Mara, the water stands on the sidewalk
Was
in
to-
your house. You can't get out.
Okay.
It's been like that for 100 years.
Billy called me and I was out of town. So I let Floyd have it. I told Floyd just dump a load of gravel in there, and he says, no, let's put some pavement. Then I was okay with it.
Citadel,
Yeah.
remember
So
that?
that's what we did. The lady is 90-some years old. And that's what we did to accommodate.
So there's a claim for the
He wasn't there.
materials
He
for
didn't
the
know
work?
what
or
She's been,
Yes.
she's
What
been
is
saying that for
For
years.
material.
Stop, please.
I can't hear
It was
that.
off.
He wasn't there.
Dave was out of town, he wasn't here.
Gloria,
Yes,
did you not call me and tell me there was a problem?
Yes,
there to
I
Check
did.
it out?
yes. I called Dave and he said, tell Randy May to do it. He wants to do everything else.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
That's the
said.
reason we don't call you, Dave, about anything.
Okay.
You wanna come and cause problems.
No, I'm
Get
not
it
gonna-
right.
I'm
I
not-
gotcha.
What is the specific claim at issue?
Right here, at Citadel on 12-9, there's two claims for
It's for, yeah,
solid
it's
blocks.
2290, and yeah, that, the total is 2748 is the total claim. $27.48 is the
Okay,
total.
well, if that
claim.
is for work and materials completed under the apparent authority of the town, then you are legally obligated to pay that debt.
I didn't, there's no labor there. I just went down there and got the water draining off
He
with
got
the
it,
hose.
really, huh?
And I took the pavers, so if we got more rain and the water come back up where she couldn't get out to the street without walking across her yard to her driveway and out to the street, that's why I put the pavers down.
And this is to pay the company for the pavers?
Yeah, 2748. He went and got some and then didn't get enough, and he went back and got another one. So that's the reason there's two different invoices.
I got 10 and then I went back and got 2 more.
Okay.
So, I have a motion on the floor to fix Trudy's Kaufman sidewalk.
So you
Okay,
don't do that for everybody though?
if you do it for one, you gotta do it for all,
I
you
guess
gotta
we'll
be
have to,
fair.
we'll have to fix everybody's then.
Well,
That's
okay, so
why I
Dave
had to
has,
alarm us. That's why I wanted to speak and.
You have nothing in
There's
this,
not-
Laura.
Hey,
Sorry,
Dave,
this is the council's meeting, not the public comment portion. So
Well,
we have to
better
keep
tell
it to the
everybody.
Dave
that
has a motion
Yes.
on the table to fix Trudy Kaufman's sidewalk with the pavers. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, so now we're gonna do roll call. So Floyd, Dave,
Yep.
Jimmy,
No.
Brenda, no. Gloria, so you'd be the tiebreaker.
I'd say no.
I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. Sue does? Sue does?
So I need a motion to pay the rest of the claims, other than the two that we just voted for.
I make a motion to pay the other claims except for two we just voted for.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay, so this one doesn't get paid, right?
Right. So, next is contract agreements. And, Tressler's contract is up to re-sign. And, it will be, so we need to vote on redoing Tressler's contract.
I want to read this right here if I can. This is in August of this year.
I'm gonna change that.
We paid Toric Engineering LLC sewage miscellaneous training
I didn't bring it.
with employees on Pam and Scott $1,968. We paid services by Stouter LLC testing the water, $1,040. And we paid services by Stouter LLC testing the sewage, $2,025. For a total of $3,065. And we paid Tressler that month $42.50 for work on the water and sewage and stuff, $3,791.40 for water and sewage. And we paid this good worker right over here, full-time utilities worker, we paid him $2,880 for that month.
So let me tell you how
So that was a total. If we keep this up 1 year, we're gonna be paying $140,448 for 1 year, and that utility worker's gonna get $34,550.
we don't have a choice but to pay Stouter contracting because we don't have a licensed person here. So Stouter has to be contracted.
So we got.
And that's what happened when Randy quit. So when Randy quit, we had to have somebody come in. And because Ted has such college degrees, it has cut that time in half. He can't test for the sewer plant. It was supposed to be 2 years. They cut it down to a year, close to a year. So he can't test for a license for that for a year. But he cannot test for the water department for 2 years. It's usually 3 years. They cut that back by 1 year.
Right.
Stouter, we have to have a license to work under. We have to have Stouter. And Bill Tressler is the only one that comes and he knows, he changes all of the big jobs out at the water treatment plant and the water plant. He does all of that. He does, if we have water main breaks, he does it. All the smart meters, he puts them in. Ted cannot do that right now. We have to have Tressler. I know you're complaining about the fees, but we have to have him.
Ted?
Ted doesn't know how.
Ted?
The only other thing, you conflated the Toric and Stouter Stouter, which was paid a large sum in June or July, before I started and when Stouter was doing all the work. Right now, Stouter is only charging $2,000 a month, which would be $24,000 a year. Toric was a one-time charge. That was because there's a very advanced computer system in the sewer plant that nobody knew how to run, and Toric came in and showed me how to run that, and I've actually documented a lot of that so that it's in a
So Toric is just one shot deal.
one shot.
So
yes.
he's done, and we don't have to worry about that every month.
Correct.
Those were
Okay.
also the people that we
Okay,
paid,
now then this-
Jimmy, those were also the people that we paid $5,000 and $5,000 for the two clarifiers that burn up out there. But Ted doesn't even use the clarifiers now. He lets it manually work by learning that computer system, which will save us. We were replacing those every 2 years. There's 4 of them. So we were replacing them at $5,000 every 2 years. So $10,000 a year, which we won't be doing that anymore. They should last 6 to 10 years now versus every 2 years.
Well, see,
So
when I was out there, We got a giant toilet right beside our old sewer plant. And it's empty, and it's cemented. And then over here, we had one of them things that went through charcoal and went around. And it worked. But when they put this $4.5 million sewer job in, we ended up with another sewer in front of the old sewer.
Yep.
And we got an empty toilet there that holds thousands of gallons of sewage that we don't even use. We rerouted it over here to this other one.
Right.
And then we got 4 big pipes going into a building. And then we got a pipe coming out there and dumping all the sewage into a great big old tank going around this way. And then it goes from that tank into another tank around this way. And then we got 2 big paddle wheels throwing water up in the air. And then it goes back around this way and comes into this here stuff where they skim it off the top.
Yep.
And then you test the water there with 6 clear waters, it's clear.
Yes.
And then you test the bug eating things. You got 2 of them you test.
Yep.
And then you got a pump out there outside pumping it back into the creek. But we're not even using our old sewer plant.
That's,
Not at all.
you can thank the old council members and the engineers
I don't
that,
blame nobody.
and the engineers that designed that.
Can we put our old sewer plant back in
We
operation?
cannot, we
Jim.
cannot.
Yes.
That
Go ahead.
tank back there has been disabled.
That what now?
That big tank back there. When you walk in that old sewer plant, you're talking about that big tank, right? That big
I'm
old
talking
tank.
about the giant.
Yeah, It's
Come
been
on.
disabled. There's no, when they redid the old water plant years ago, that line was taken out. Randy and I discussed about wasting in there.
Well, how did that old plant work? Do you know, Dave?
Very little.
Okay.
I just know the basics and
Was put in 1960.
Well, according to that $4.5 million job we got they done there, they were supposed to remodel that building and fix it up and everything, but they didn't do it.
So the agenda item we're on is Trussler's contract, which I
yes.
have in front of me.
Okay.
It is for $5,452.80 per month for these services, and it can be renewed
Mark.
for a successive term of 1 year with a reservation of rights to renegotiate any terms.
Can I make one comment? Ted, you can't run heavy equipment, right? I mean, you can't, okay. Jerry, where I'm at with this and we'll get on.
Okay.
For what Bill gives us, you're getting a real good deal, I'm telling you. Bill pays for the workers' comp, he pays for fuel, he pays for his labor. And he's got the equipment.
The only thing that Bill asked is that we go ahead and make it for a 3-year contract instead of a 1-year contract, and that he is also included in the 3% cost of living raises that you're gonna talk about in a little bit. Everything else is pretty much the same on the contract, and this is a contract that Les, Jim, and I
When
are
we
Jim
first
and I
got
are-
Bill, he worked 2 or 3 years and never asked for an increase. And he raised it 3%. And 3% a year is pretty cheap, because like I say, workman's comp, you got insurance, health insurance, he has to pay for his labor, he has to pay for the equipment.
Yes.
We can't afford to buy the equipment, Jim.
So is there a motion on the floor
Can
to
Bill
amend?
Tressler be trained to do what that guy's doing on the water and sewage?
No, he doesn't want to, he
So
wants,
he can't put-
he's a
can he put
contractor, he
hours
doesn't
in?
wanna be over the water and the
Okay,
sewer,
but
he don't
can
wanna
he
be
put hours
licensed.
in for the water and hours in for the sewage?
He can put water, he
That's what
can
he's doing
put
now.
hours in for the
Well,
water,
that's
the
what he
sewer,
does.
and the streets. That's
Okay.
what his contract says.
Okay.
Yes. So
So if he
wherever
puts in
he's
40
needed.
hours for the sewage and water, is he in with you at the same time or what?
So,
You're both fit together down there for him to get his 40 hours and you get your 160 hours, right?
there are certain things that,
Okay.
there's, like, when he wastes down there, it takes him and 2 other men to pull those
Right.
bags out of there. So he can't do it, he could never do it by himself. It takes heavy equipment operators and people to be able to do that job down at the wastewater plant. You can't do it with one person.
Okay, but now you're going to be qualified in about 6 months for the water, right?
No, the
Or
sewer.
Sewer, yeah.
Okay, then how long will it be before you be qualified for the water?
Another year and a half,
A year and a
yes.
half from when you started or from now?
He has to work under somebody, right, Ted, for so many hours. And then he takes a test and then Corwin signs off, right? I think that's what it is.
And honestly, I haven't really looked into the testing much. I mean, there's so much on my plate right now.
So you
There's
need Trester?
massive amounts of
Do you need
work.
Trester, sir?
I have to have him because
Okay.
he does all the maintenance. He is I don't know anything about utilities at all. I'm just learning, and he does most of the work, the outside work. If there's a water main break, I would not know what to do.
So you need him.
I need,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So back to the contract,
Okay.
I need a motion to, adopt the contract again, only changing it from 1 year to 3 years and giving him
I'll
the
make a
3%
I'll
raise.
second it.
Is the 3% year over year, every
Yes,
year?
yes,
That's cheap.
yes. So
Sounds like
Dave
we
made
have
a
to
motion,
second.
Floyd seconded it, all in favor say aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Alright, so the contract was adopted. Alright,
May I keep this copy to
You may.
update?
yeah, what I need though, is there any way that, I mean, we need to type up a new one with these changes on it?
Yeah, that's
And then,
fine.
and then
I'll
get it
scan
signed,
it
you'll
in
do
and-
that,
yeah.
perfect, thank you. And then the Redkey Fire Department contract needs signed, that got signed, did it get signed?
That was approved last month.
Okay, so that's off the
you just
table.
need to sign.
And, I would take it that our attorney's gonna work on, the Knox Township contract because of the wording, is that my
Yeah,
understanding?
it's
with you?
currently worded that the township will pay the fire department, but the township actually pays the town and the town pays the fire department, so we need to clarify that for
Okay.
state road accounts.
So
Knox
is
pays
Gloria
the
gonna
town.
do that, or are you gonna do that?
I'm
Or-
gonna do
okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay, so our attorney's
Knox
gonna do
used to
that.
say that Knox pays the town.
And Laura, just to clarify, that amount doesn't come through, that's not half through the fire department. That just
He
goes
wants-
into our.
I
line
put
item
this
budget.
amount in
Okay.
there, and it should be like almost 10,000.
Meaning it's not credited against the town's contract, it's in addition to it? Is that what you're clarifying?
Well, it's completely separate, I guess. But the only money that we get at all is the money that's in our contract. So the money from the townships just goes to the town, it doesn't come to the fire department. So I mean,
So
theoretically,
that
it's
helps
used.
pay the agreed upon amount.
Yeah, we come in
to
with,
fire
Yeah,
department.
agreed
you look at it like
contract.
that, it helps pay
Thank
the
you for
other line
clarifying
items.
that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that confusion that came to us.
Township, far goes to you, right?
Yeah, to the town.
The township trustee pays the town has an agreed contract with the fire department for coverage, right, Mom?
Yeah, so we will need to fix the language on that.
You give that to Floyd, please.
If we just sign there.
So, and now the next on the agenda is the ordinance of the first reading for the penalties for unauthorized individuals who tamper with water meters, and I've not seen that ordinance.
Oh, I didn't give it to you? I thought I did. I got so many things to do, I don't know what I did.
Who's been
Okay.
water? Obviously, there's a.
Ordinance establishing a penalty of unauthorized individuals. You guys have one in your packet.
So we have trouble people getting in meters?
We have-
Yes, we have people that, when we turn their water off for late payments, we go back down there. And now with these smart meters, it pings and lets us know when somebody's using water when they shouldn't. And we go down there and it's turned back on. This needs a good
Well,
attention.
that's where that man comes involved right there.
Jimmy, you need to
Yeah,
sign this.
I went with them just.
Take the meters out.
And this would be 2024
Was,
eight, by the
I went
way.
with Brenda and Heather once to go do it. I've always told Ted, you guys have to.
Which one?
So when you guys shut their water off, you canceling their tri-service
Tampering.
also?
Say that again.
Yeah, are you canceling their tri-service also?
Canceling their trash service. I talked to I talked to Best Way about that, and they said that it was gonna be too hard to be able to be able to.
All you do is call and tell the guy,
I
Clint, it's
did
not
call
on,
and tell Clint.
right?
I didn't call and tell Clint, and that was Clint told me personally that it was too hard to remember who to and who not to pick up
He's
the
got a
trash
screen in
for.
his truck. It just tells they're off service.
Feel free to call him and let me know.
I know
who you
Clint
find
very
out.
well, and when I was, that we couldn't walk people's trash service.
What he said was, if we go doing that, then we're gonna have a bunch of trash in this town where they go to the parks and fill up the dumpsters and stuff.
Dave, he told me that, I called him too.
That's what he said.
Because that's what I do, and he did tell me that too, that it wasn't even, they
It wasn't
wasn't even
worth the
worth
time.
taking it.
But it's gonna raise our,
It doesn't raise it, it's still the same amount.
if your tonnage goes up, and you complain about the fire department and stuff, now we're in people through trash.
All they're gonna do is come out here and fill up these dumpsters out in your
Take the
day.
take the trash toters.
That's what he said. He said, if you take their trash toters, they're gonna take their trash somewhere. They're gonna come out here and fill up all of the dumpsters.
Only thing I know is you put a stop order at Bestway, and they put them on Clint's screen, and you don't pick it up, you got it.
We can talk to Clint, I'll make a point to talk to Clint again. As a matter of fact, I'll invite him to our next meeting.
Tampering.
I'll talk to Clint.
So the important part about this ordinance is that you guys wanted more teeth to be able to do something about it when water meters were tampered with.
Yes.
So there's a built-in penalty. The first offense is $150, the second offense is $300,
Yeah.
the
Too-
third
it's
is
too little.
$400.
It's too little, Brenda. $1,000.
No, no.
You're the one that came up with these numbers, right?
It was
Penalties?
500.
Yeah.
It was 500.
Well, it's not exceeding 500, but subject to the following. So those are minimum numbers
Is
that
there
are
an
read.
age range where it talks about?
If it's a first offense and it's egregious, you can go up to 500, but the minimum is 150.
So why don't we just change it to $500 then? Right off the discount. They're gonna steal water, septic services,
I
just
Is
like
that a motion
trash.
to amend?
I just have a question.
I think it
Is
should.
there a second for the amendment? And then you can open it up for
Dave, you're the one that
questioning.
made the motion to amend it to 500.
Yep.
Okay, is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
All those in favor of that amendment?
Jimmy says no. I say no.
That's
Gloria,
ridiculous.
you're the tiebreaker, right?
So,
Welcome to the council, Gloria.
Brenda says
so we're
yes.
gonna,
Huh?
You said no?
Yeah.
so it's okay for people to
To
get
me,
in there
it's
for
fine as it is.
$150.
Because we
No,
don't
I
have to
think
redo it.
we have to start somewhere.
Why
This is
redo
showing,
it?
to me, this is showing people that we mean business. If it doesn't work, then we will go to 500. We can amend it.
We had a guy out here in town that got in the meter too, and they took him to jail.
Wish we wouldn't.
And I can tell you the individual's name if you'd like to know.
So it was, so we're keeping this one because it was,
I voted no.
okay.
Leave it like it is, why change it?
So this is the ordinance then.
You still need to introduce the ordinance.
So we're introducing the ordinance, an ordinance established for a penalty for unauthorized individuals who tamper with meters in violation of the town of Redkey's Code of Ordinance. And this is ordinance 2024-8. Do I read more of it, like the
Nope, by
definition?
title only.
Okay. And so this is the ordinance that has now passed, so this will be something that you'll want to make sure that you
We have
look
to
over too.
publish
This is
it,
the
and then we have
first
to have a second
reading, we'll read
reading.
it again, we'll vote on it again next month
Okay.
for the second reading.
I have a
Did we get it
question.
introduced?
What are you gonna do if they can't pay the
Vote.
money?
Dave, oh, we need a vote, we need a motion to adopt it,
No, to introduce.
to introduce, because the amendment was denied, so do I need a motion to
Introduce
introduce
it as
this.
written.
Make a motion to introduce it.
One of you guys second it? So then we will have none. We won't have any penalties if we don't pass something.
I'm just saying, I'm not gonna pass it. I'm not voting for it. You got yours, you break the tie.
Am I allowed to? Okay. Huh?
So procedurally, you would introduce it tonight, we'd have a month to discuss penalties and potentially changing it before you actually vote on it next month. But if you don't introduce it, it just dies.
So it's just being introduced. So you'll
We
second
can
it?
change it.
All right. So all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Ah,
All right. So it's introduced.
Now, on the agenda, just for clarification, you're not at second reading on the animal ordinance. That's
I
also
didn't
for
think we were,
introduction.
I thought. because
This
I
should
know
be the
last-
first one because we never had the ordinance before. It didn't get to last
Okay, so
meeting.
that's my fault.
That's okay. So, we're gonna introduce ordinance, and it wouldn't be 2024-11, it would be 9.
So this is just the
Yeah, this is
first time on it?
Yep, this is an introduction, right?
Is this an
Yes.
introduction?
So this is an introduction to ordinance 2024-9, where we are amending the animal ordinance to include chickens for the town. The only thing it did was added chickens.
I thought there was supposed to
No,
not be any
no.
roosters, but.
We can't have roosters, that was
I
already
thought
in
it said
there.
roosters on there.
We're not allowed to have
I
roosters.
thought
Well,
Mr.
they
Brady
can't
had
have
it.
roosters. I'm
So
way.
I would encourage you to read through all of it in the next month before you vote to pass it. But I
We had at least reached the ARAs.
specifically,
Takes a man and a woman.
under prohibited animals, female chickens shall be allowed to be kept within the town of Redkey with all of the following requirements and restrictions. No more than 6 on any parcel of land within the corporate limits, completely and securely enclosed, either in a coop or a securely fenced area no larger than 100 feet. There's parameters for the chicken coop, that it has to stay sanitary, confined to the rear of the yard, and dead chickens have to be immediately removed, are the highlights of that. But obviously the entire ordinance will be on file in the clerk's office for people to read the details and suggest any amendments.
So does it eliminate, roosters?
Yeah, roosters
Yeah,
are
it's a
still
female.
prohibited.
Okay, roosters are still prohibited.
So you want to take this out here, Brenda?
So,
Turkey or the chickens? Not having chickens?
No, we're introducing it to add that you can have chickens. That's, you know.
Female
Can't eat
chickens.
their eggs because they can't have
Female
them.
chickens.
is it
Yes.
gonna be?
Yes, hens.
Published too? Or did I have it?
So all I'm doing is I need a motion to introduce it. That doesn't mean that we are voting on it because we still have to have a second. So can I have a motion to
Got
introduce
a
it?
motion to introduce it.
So there's a motion on the table by Jenny to introduce the ordinance 2024-9 to include chickens to our animals. Do I have a second?
Does it need to be published before the
I'll
next
second.
meeting?
Floyd seconds it. All in favor? Aye.
Thank
So,
you guys, by the way.
so Jimmy made the motion to introduce the ordinance 2024-9 to include hens. Dave, did you second it or did Floyd? Floyd seconded it and we all voted yes.
So please let me know if you have any questions over the next month. There are other minor changes. There were some things in here in conflict with state law and animal humane law that I amended.
Okay.
If you have any questions,
Size
let me
of
know.
the building and
Was
stuff.
introduced, both of them.
That's all just pulled from other similar chicken ordinances in other towns.
When I wrote some of that up,
I'm no chicken
and gave
expert.
it in, it was just that I did it based on other town ordinances on there on it, and it was easy enough where I could easily enforce it without spending an hour of your guys' time paying me to measure stuff out. It was gonna be really easy. So,
In new business, we have Gloria for the salary ordinance for 2025. You have one, everybody has one in their packet or not, Gloria?
They should. One of them is to give a 3% raise. And then there's one to give the council a 3% raise if you want one.
So there's one that will give just the employees a 3% raise and one that will give the employees and council 3% raise.
Yeah, and then there's one from last year, like last year's if you don't want to give anything.
And
So
then,
there's 3 different versions of the same salary ordinance. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be funny, I was trying to clarify.
That's what
I mean, we'll leave last year's as it is if we don't want to give any raises.
If you don't want to give any raises, we'll keep it as last year's. If you want to give raises, there's one that has the town, the employees getting raises, and then there's one with the board members, if they want raises.
So let's call these proposals A, B, and C, and somebody
A, B,
needs to
C.
make a motion on one of them.
So do we
We're
want
at the end of the year.
So A would be continue with last year's. B would be just give the employees a raise, or C would be give employees and council a raise for the salary ordinance. I need a motion to adopt one of those.
C? Yeah. I'll make a motion to adopt C.
C, so we have a motion on the table to adopt C to give all employees and council a raise. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Floyd seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Um,
Unanimous.
You need to suspend the rules and pass that because it's the end of the year.
So tell
And
me
it goes into effect on January 1st.
Okay, so tell me how I do that.
So someone needs to make a motion to suspend the rules and it has to be unanimous.
Okay, so I need a motion to suspend the rules so that we can adopt this.
I'll make a motion.
Dave makes a motion to suspend the rules. I need a second. Floyd seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Now you can move to
Yeah.
adopt, but you do need a supermajority voting in favor, so at least 3 of the 4 of you.
Okay, so now we're gonna vote again to adopt the C. Dave made the motion, Floyd seconded it, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay, now you have a salary ordinance in
All right.
place for 2025.
You got that, Mama?
So Dave and Floyd,
If you want to send me the language for the minutes, I'll help.
Did you get it, Gloria?
well, the first time they all agreed on C, and that was to introduce it, and then the second time was for what?
They moved to suspend the rules,
Suspend, okay.
and then they adopted the ordinance.
And then, yeah, and then
You can always watch
Dave
the
made the
video.
motion to
Gloria.
adopt, Lloyd seconded it, and we were
Okay, I
all
got
voted
that.
yes.
Okay.
On all of those.
Introduced it, and
Yeah.
then it was suspended to adopt.
And it was unanimous on all 3 of those, a unanimous vote.
We all agree on something.
No kidding. So now we're gonna move to departments. Gavin's not here for parks, police. Mr. Cave,
Just still been working different odd shifts, get called out. I've been scheduling myself to work 6 to 7 hour days. I know Mondays and Fridays, it's important that I'm out first shift, so you'll definitely see me first shift on those. Throughout the week here lately, I'll come out at random hours. Usually whenever I get called out, dispatcher call me or whatever the case may be, that's usually when I'll start my shift right then. And that way I'm not gonna overload on way over 40 hours at the same time, not trying to be, at 20 hours. So here lately I've been scheduling myself to have somewhere around 30 to 35, and I've still been averaging just over 40, but it's just been same thing, watching. I noticed there's less people running the stop signs, less four-wheelers, except for here lately, there's been a couple. But for the most part, the biggest thing is just cleaning up, getting everything organized for whoever may be town marshal, or like the next
your
deputy marshal.
citations, right? You're giving out the citations for things that are.
Oh yeah, really the big thing this month too, a big thing, yeah, was campers. People living in campers. I've done more than that this month than ever.
You addressed somebody who brought in a note that they wanted me to read to you. On 12/19 of 2024, it says, "To whom it may concern, this is Jamie Rombeck. I own the property at 338 George Street in Redkey. I pay taxes on it. Joe Newsom has my permission to have his camper on that property as long as he wants to. He has been there for over 2 years. He is trying to work on the old house next door. He is 71 years old and slow moving, so he needs time to work on the house so that he can move out of the camper. He has been paying me rent every month to stay there. Call if you need any more information." Then in conjunction to that, there's one from Christy Newsom, dated the same thing. It says, "This is Christy Newsom. I live at 104 East Delaware Street. Joe Newsom has my permission to take showers and get all the water he wants from my house, as he has a key to my home. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me, Christy Newsom."
The biggest issue with that is that there's still a town ordinance against the campers, no matter whose property it is. I mean, if you don't want campers, my opinion is don't live in city limits then. Or if you want your camper, don't live in city limits.
And I understand that we have the ordinance, so I wanted to ask you something, because Jimmy called me and said, "Hey, even if we have an ordinance, we don't supersede Indiana state law." And Indiana state law is what Jimmy's saying. Now, I'm not for sure, that's why I'm asking you, as I know nothing about this. He said that the Indiana state law says if you own your property, that you can do on your property whatever you want to do. And we don't have any zoning. So, what is our rights if our ordinance says that they can't, according to the Indiana state law?
So for
We'll
broad.
look into that for you.
Okay,
Let me speak a minute.
okay.
The Bill of Rights says we have a right to enjoy what is ours by respecting others' right to enjoy what is theirs.
Right,
That's how this nation started out.
right.
Now, Jamie Armbeck owns that property. All right, that guy's not getting no water from the town. He's not getting no sewage from the town. He has his sewer line cleaned out every month or whatever it is.
Which we did see the bills where
He
he
came
paid
down
us.
to my
Yes.
house, he come down to my house tonight, and I went out to talk to him. This guy could come up to the door and knock. Well, when I went out, he had some papers he wanted to bring, but he said, "I've got COVID." I said, "If you've got COVID, I don't want to touch your papers." But I said, "I will, if they bring it up, I will tell them." And I went down and seen him. and he owns the camper, Jamie owns the land, and there's no bill for water, there's no bill for sewage, and no trash pickup.
So what is he doing
So-
with his trash? I know what he's doing with his
I don't know
sewer,
what
I
he's
seen
doing
that
with
bill.
it, but he ain't got no trash out that I see.
So where's the sewage going?
He's paying
He's paying-
somebody to come and suck it
They
out,
come
he showed us
suck his
that.
sewage out of his camper.
So it's not going into our system?
No,
Correct.
it's not using nothing of the tank.
So how do we handle that?
We'll just have to check into it.
How can you go to some people and say, you're a camper, I mean, people live in the house and you're letting somebody live in a camper on your property, and we tell them that they can't do it, but we tell this guy that he can't, so that, what do we do? Can you
Look
said,
for the state
she's
law.
gonna look into it and
Look for
clarify
the
it.
state law, sis. Look for the state law.
If there's no ordinance, is there?
There's an ordinance for
Yes, there is.
Sure is.
So we
You have to
will,
enforce it, correct?
can I have so do I need a motion to table it till
If there is
next
an
month?
ordinance, you have to
Next-
enforce
It's
it,
not
correct?
business.
Okay,
Fine,
so
well,
we'll
that's
just
even a
address
discussion.
it next month, right? We'll talk about it next month.
Whenever.
Okay,
She's
whenever
gonna
she
check
gets to it.
She's
So we
gonna-
will get back to that at some point. Okay, John and I will give you directives as to what to do from that point.
So in the meantime, do you want me enforcing campers?
So what about other campers? Does he enforce our ordinance? Because I don't want people to think that our ordinances don't stand, because then they can say, well, if you're not gonna enforce that ordinance, then by George, you're not gonna enforce this
Well, I just don't want
ordinance.
to be in a lawsuit because I've already had a few people move their campers.
I know you've already had a few people do it. You've told them they were gonna be fined, like the ordinance says, and so they moved it. So this is a
I would
sticky
say until the
situation.
council eliminates the ordinance, or a court of law tells you it's an invalid ordinance, your law enforcement should enforce your ordinances as written.
There you go.
Okay.
Alright, thank you.
Kate, are you going to go to Portland in the paper?
So what do we do about this no? We're not gonna let him do it? Is that what I'm doing?
He's gonna
Yeah.
continue to tell them, and they're gonna have to pay the fines.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Rich Russ on the corner of Bell and George.
No, he's gone. He's gone. Is he not gone? He don't live in that camper. He was living in he pulled another camper in over to the boss's house and was hooked up to her
Oh,
sewer
that
and
one, yeah,
electric.
that one,
and
yeah, they
he's
got,
gone.
yeah, so what I've been telling people, I usually give people a week.
He's living in that house, then.
No, they moved that camper to somebody else's property and they're still
He's living at the end of the house that's burned out.
He is?
The burnt house.
He's living in the burnt house now?
Sure is. It's uninhabitable.
But that's
'Cause he
his
was-
property and his house though.
He
I mean,
was
unless
there
we
the
get
day I was
help.
working down there on Trudy's water.
How about I make a call to the health department?
Good luck.
I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a call to the health department on that and see where we go from there.
I think we have an ordinance on inhabiting the product, or right now,
Oh, that's what I'm gonna say. What I've been telling people is usually when I do the campers, it's usually gonna be on a Thursday-ish, sometimes Friday, and I give them a week. And then what I do is I come back in a week and then I tell them, look, by Monday, I'll give you the weekend. Just so the board's clear of what I've been telling people.
but we do have an ordinance for uninhabitable and unsafe property, not to live in. So
Right,
Be empty,
and I've been,
get a court order.
yeah,
And then also with the police business, we have 6 applicants for deputy?
deputy.
And so, I need for you to come up, you're gonna have to let Gloria know, come up with a date that works for everybody to do interviews.
Sounds good.
So you come up with a date, she has to at least give the newspaper 48 hours, and then we can do interviews for those and go from there. And while we're doing that one, we'll go ahead and do the one we got an applicant for a utility worker by the name of Matthew Gore. So we'll do him on the same day that we do the police officer.
Why don't we just put some reserves on, and if they work out, hire, save us a lot of money.
I know that's what he said too, but
I
then we have to
mentioned
buy all of them the best, and that is salty.
Well, I was just thinking 3 or 4, interview, some of these people might fall out in the interview process, you never know. So after the interview process, I would say almost look at doing reserves. And the issue is if you rush to hire somebody, then you're not stuck with them all the time. Now you gotta revote it if you want them out.
You got
So-
one reserved?
How many of them will want
It'd be
reserve?
nice to have 3 reserves.
How many of the applicants that you have right now will want reserve?
I probably have 3 would take it still. Cause I got 3 that I know that really want, and then the others I don't know yet. I don't wanna say for them without asking asking them specifically, because I haven't said anything to them about that because it's more of the board's decision for that. I mean, in my opinion, like of, you know, whether we were to go that route or not.
Do you have one reserve now?
One reserve.
Well, but we do have a reserve, but he hasn't been doing any of his,
He actually called me earlier.
okay,
Ironically, called me on my way here.
so he's gonna start working or not?
He says he is.
Okay.
So, but it'd be nice to get 2 other reserves. I
Well,
mean,
we'll do the interviews and go from there, I think.
all right.
Is that fair?
Yeah, let's just get a date. I mean, I'm okay with any day you guys tell me. And,
Let's get past the holidays and make sure
yeah,
you guys have got a preference of a day or a time. Floyd, Dave,
As long as it's after 6 o'clock.
after 6 o'clock? Ooh. Jimmy, you have a,
I'm
okay.
retired.
If preferably after 6 o'clock.
that's fine.
Through the week, right?
Okay,
But okay, all right.
I like that idea. Gives them time to get off work, more than likely they're still working, so.
Okay. So, Ted, sewer and water?
All right, well, I'll stand over here, so I'm not behind Dave and Floyd. Basically, everything, the basic functions of, at the water plant and the sewer plant are working well. At the water plant, drinking water is really great. It's passing all the IDEM tests. We submitted the final test to the Hoosier Microbiology Lab, the final test for 2024, the bacteriological test. That passed, all the synthetic organic compounds, nitrate, lead, copper, everything passed with flying colors, chlorine levels, everything's great. The drinking water, the cold weather did show up some issues, some challenges at the plant, mainly because there are a number of heating units that are needed in various rooms and buildings at the drinking water plant because when you have water sitting in metal pipes, they don't like to be frozen, apparently. So it was a challenge. We found in the main building that a blower unit in the heater is not working. We're trying to find a replacement. Unfortunately, the unit is 20 years old, 25 years old, and the company that made the unit is out of business now. So we have a temporary fix that's keeping the room at 65 degrees, thanks to Tressler and his employee. But we're looking into how to figure out where to find this blower unit, and also we have trying to find we're going to make another insulated panel for the unit to mitigate heat loss. The east pump house, that's well insulated. Both the heater and the heat lamps are working well. We're maintaining 55 degrees in there. West pump house, there's no insulation. The heat lamp works, but the heater doesn't work because there's an outlet that needs replaced, and so that's on the list of things to go. But we're doing okay as long as we stay above the teens and stuff like that.
What would be the ideal fix for that, Tim?
Right now we need to replace an outlet, but eventually there's insulation that you can put inside, like the inch styrofoam foam and everything else, to put it on the inside walls of that. That's what's at the east pump house, and if we put down the west pump house, it's going to put a lot less strain on the heater and the heat lamps.
That's something you can do, change it out yourself, you have to have a source of help or something.
Trust can do that. I mean, I can help with put up the insulation and everything else and stuff, but the electrical, we just leave that to Tressler. Was
it one of the heaters out or the furnace went out or something? We had to have it fixed?
That's actually the sewer plant.
Okay.
So we're going to hit that next. So that's it for the water plant. Like I said, everything's working great, except we just have to have, and we've got temporary fixes for the heating issues and stuff. We just have to make them more permanent. At the sewer plant, the Headworks building, turns out that there is a heater that totally is out. We have contacted an HVAC professional. They've actually got a stopgap measure that's to fix the issue. They're ordering more parts. It's a spark plug that needs to fire in order to get the gas to ignite and get and this is the same room that actually we had the vents, the vent fan that was stuck in the on position, and for the last 3.5 years or so. And so we figured that because that vent was on in the winter time, that room was always cold, and so we had that furnace was always running, and so that just burned out some internal parts in that furnace. So there's also a stopgap measure. Again, thanks to Tressler and his employee, who doesn't want to be mentioned, but they've been incredibly helpful in finding ways to just get heat into these rooms. There's also there's also just the recent rain, and again, this goes to the long-term control plan. A lot of our storm sewers are sending water directly to the sewer plant and stuff, and so that's causing havoc. Even the last like quarter inch, half inch of rain that we've had, I had to slow down certain processes and actually stop these oxidation wheels 3 times in the last 2 weeks in order to prevent the sludge from leaking. And the sludge is what the flocculum is, this bio or a series of microorganisms, both bacteria and eukaryotes, that digest the sludge, and there's this microbiome that does the work.
How much to bypass put a creek in?
We didn't bypass it technically yet, but what we did let loose some sludge into the creek. So that's something that just has to be kept an eye on. In terms of the long-term control plan, I had to finish that up. These last couple of weeks have been a little challenging because I've been suffering from a bit of a cold. But we did have a very productive meeting with the Indiana Finance Authority on this past Tuesday, 2 days ago. They are actually an entity that's funded by the EPA to the actual states, and they are in a position to help Redkey financially with grants that for utility improvements. And there are certain qualifications that Redkey had to meet. Unfortunately, one of them is that we have to be poor, basically, and so financially we don't have the means to do these projects ourselves. Last meeting I outlined that the engineers they found 4 areas where there's significant increases in water flow in these sewers during rain events, and each project is about $2 million. So even if we get an Okra grant, so that's 4 projects times $2 million, $8 million. Even right now, we've got a slush fund that has just that's about $370,000 in it. So we would need $400,000. If we go with Okra, they need a 20% match. And so for a $2 million project, you have to, Redkey has to fund $400,000 of it. And so we've only got enough money for one of these projects, 1 out of 4. But we're hoping that the Indiana Finance Authority can actually provide additional funding. They actually seem very enthusiastic to help us on the call. They do have, like I said, one of the things is that we have to be a destitute, or we don't have to be, we have to have financial need for their help. The other thing is that then they actually ask for our utility rates, because again, their mandate is to help small towns. If and they're not out there to help like big conglomerate companies and stuff like that. If Redkey is not charging enough money for their utilities, we're going to go out of business. That utility is going to financially collapse and have to be taken over by American Water or something like that.
They were happy with our rates at this point, right?
They are happy with our rates for right now and stuff. They do. I mean, we are showing sometimes a profit, but usually we're breaking even on utilities. And I know a lot of people are talking about the utility rates and stuff, so I did actually go into the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, which is a website. They actually have, they survey various communities and ask about the utility rates and everything else. And so from what I found, for 4,000 gallons of water and sewage, it costs, Redkey would charge $120 a month for that. In Wabash, Kokomo, Terre Haute, Warsaw, Muncie and stuff like that, you would also be paying $120 a month for 4,000 gallons of water. Basically, our rates are pretty standard compared to other towns and actually much larger cities and stuff. So for people who are complaining about the rates, I mean, they are what they are. I mean, they're actually average compared to other utilities.
For bigger cities, yes.
Yeah. And they have to, like I said, we have to show that we are making, that we're actually breaking even, that we're actually committed to keeping this utility within Redkey. If they see that we're losing money every month and everything else, and they go like, well, why would we fund Redkey if they're going to be out of business in a couple of years and stuff, and we're going to put money into them, and they're, why don't we put it into another town that is actually serious about keeping their utility as a municipal utility?
I think that's, personally myself, that's the best way to do it. Have American Water come in and buy it, they buy it.
Well, and you're on a time crunch because you only have till the 31st to come up with some kind of an idea for IDEM, because we only have till the 31st of this year to come up with some kind of a plan to get this ball rolling, or they were gonna start fining us. So we have to work with these people to do whatever it is. At least if we start working on one, you know, however you decide, because you're the man to do it, we gotta do it because IDEM says we're gonna have to, or they're gonna not let us have any more hookups in our town. We won't be able to let anybody move in and out, because once you shut the water off, you can't restart it at any building. They will put a water ban on us. So we have to do whatever it is to fix these problems.
And what I've found is that there's, and actually Muncie has, I just found this evening and stuff, I was doing some research. They've got combined sewer overflows just like we do, and Muncie actually has a 20-year plan in order to fix their overflows and their combined sewers and stuff like that. So, I mean, we don't have to say, well, we're going to fix everything in a year. I mean, we've got a timeline, we can extend that timeline out. The only thing that we have to do is show IDEM that we are making progress every year and stuff. And there has to be, like,
And Pete's helping you too, right?
Yes, Pete has been a great help from the Alliance.
Pete from Alliance. See, that's why it's really important when I told you that we needed to have that salary ordinance changed. For the utility workers, because Alliance of Indiana has a lot of things that they offer small community, well, any community, but small communities use them more because they need them. But in order for them to like help Ted get his license for the water and the sewer plant, he has to be making $20 an hour. Then they will provide him all the schooling and knowledge that he needs to pass these tests.
Is he making $20 an hour?
He's not, they're only making $18 an hour. So in this ordinance, or in the salary ordinance, that's one thing that I think that you, that you made sure was up to snuff.
$20.
You realize how much an operator's making, a sewer guy's making,
In a big town, yeah, they're making $70,000, $80,000 a year. Yeah. So,
Can we make a motion now, give him a raise to $20?
well, it's already in the ordinance, you already passed it in the ordinance.
Yes.
When does he get his $20?
Starting in
Starting
January.
First of January?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Ted, you got more?
Nope, that's it.
All right, well, thank you so much. Ted is doing an amazing job, he's saving us tons of money, and now both of those plants are running great. And so,
Did you put him outside for 50 years?
Winner, chicken dinner.
so, and until we can get somebody else, if he needs time, I can do the testing at the water plant, and we've made some kind of an agreement that I will be training with him to do the testing at the sewer plant also, so that if he gets sick or needs a vacation until we can get somebody else hired and trained, I
I've
will do
volunteered to
that.
help him too. I've volunteered.
That's,
I've been down there a few times.
all right, so let's go on to the next. Thank you, Ted, for everything that you do. For the streets, I know that the pipeline just left. Their last day was day before yesterday, I believe. They left us all the rest of their gravel that they had, all the rest of the sand that they had, plus they provided us with a dump truck load of stone in case some of these areas that they weren't able to fill in until they come back next year, because they are coming back in the spring to start again here with some projects. They left us enough gravel to fill in if places sink. So if you notice that, don't complain, just call us and let us know, and we'll get somebody down there with a tractor to get these places filled in that are sinking, because it got cold and they couldn't pour some of the concrete, so they had to put gravel in some of those places. Let's see, what's Ellis Toy, what's that about? Ellis Toy.
I know, he told me ahead of time if it's not on there.
Oh, when when the prior council, well, the prior, no, it was you guys, the clerk and her, what do they call you? Helper,
Deputy
or the deputy clerk, were here before. They was allowing people to have extensions on their water bills. And when I say that, they had so much time to pay, and as long as they paid by that time, they were allowed to do an extension again. If they did not pay by that time, the extension was null and void. They were never allowed to get
For a
another
year.
extension for a year, right?
Right.
But it's become a real headache. It's not an ordinance. It's not a rule that we've made. It's not nothing that the council voted on. The clerk and her deputy just did this. Well, it's becoming a problem for these guys now with, I mean, there's tons of them. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to continue that? Do you want to not continue that?
I thought they said it was illegal if you didn't have an ordinance.
That's why I'm asking these
I'll play
guys.
state board of council, I was at Mark.
The State Board of Accounts did bring it to our attention that it should not be going on. That's why
There's
I'm
no
asking.
ordinance, we shouldn't do it, they said.
So it needs to stop. Is everybody in agreement with that? So do I need a motion to, I mean, it was never an ordinance, but, so is everybody okay that they stop that?
I'm okay,
All right.
Who voted once?
Well, we don't have to vote because it was
Okay.
not an
All
ordinance. Is that
agree?
correct?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
We have to
So-
adopt an ordinance
And
tomorrow.
if you're wanting to build in some kind of grace period and notice period, like State Board of Accounts wants, then I need to go back and draft an ordinance to that effect.
I think you should probably do that. Do you guys agree that that probably should be an ordinance? I think so.
So you want to give a grace period?
They have 15 days, don't they? They shut them off.
Well, they have a grace period. They do have the 15 days, but they have to pay a late fee for that, right? So that's all they need.
No,
So-
after 15 days, they pay the late fee. They don't pay late fee for the first.
But
They
that-
get their bill on the first, the bills are due the 15th.
If they don't
After the
pay it,
15th, they get a late fee.
then they get a disconnect notice a month later.
No, they
Then
got
they
2
get
months.
10 days. You
Two
can go
months.
3 months. You can go almost 3 months without paying water bill. Yeah.
That's
So, the reason is the 22nd. They bill you the first, and then if you don't pay it by the 15th, then they wait till the next 22nd.
No,
to
if you don't pay by the
second
15th, Billy calls us by 4 o'clock that night and we shut them off. Is that not correct?
Well, that's the second month. The first
Oh.
month, no.
The
day.
first
Okay,
month you
then
don't.
you read
The
the
first month they
second
get 2
month, the
months.
22nd, and then you send the bill the first, and it's a disconnect notice.
Is
And
that
then
how
10
our
days
ordinance
later,
reads?
you
I don't
disconnect.
remember reading our ordinance to
I've
read
never
that.
seen an ordinance. I'll tell you what I do. The first, I'll just say November 1st, the bills go out. Who don't pay by the 15th, they get a late fee added onto their bill. December comes, the December 1st bill goes out. Whoever don't pay by the 15th, that means 2 months. If they haven't paid November's or December's, they get shut off on the 16th.
But I thought I read, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I read you the ordinance and I helped you fill out all of those disconnect papers that were in Keystone.
Yeah?
One time. I know we sent them out one time. Do you still send those out?
Yes,
Okay.
every month.
Okay,
I sent like 47 last month.
okay.
So do they get charged a late fee per occurrence or just one?
Yes. So if they don't pay the next month on time, they get another late fee, right?
10%,
Each month,
10%,
they have to pay by the 15th. And if they don't pay the 15th, they get
10%
late fee.
penalty.
Another
Okay.
late
a, I'll
fee.
just use an example, like mine's 95.55.
Okay,
If I
so
don't pay
if
by,
it goes to the second month, do they get another late fee?
Yes.
Yes.
not till it shuts off, when it gets shut off on the 16th, when they can pay $50 to get reconnected.
So what, I guess.
Yes,
what I'm
there's a
saying,
penalty on it,
If
yes.
they're 3 months behind, they should get 3 late
They
fees.
shouldn't have 3 months. 2 months is all they get.
You get 2 months grace, and then you get about 10 days to cut you off.
But you'll get
So
2
you
late
got
fee
3
charges.
Yeah, you get
Yes,
2 late fee
yes,
charges, yes.
yes.
Because the day after it's due, I have to file penalties and it automatically kicks in.
Yeah.
So then we don't need an ordinance, then we're just gonna leave it the way it is and you guys aren't gonna stop doing that. You're not gonna allow it anymore.
She's
That's what
Whatever you
everybody,
guys want.
that's
If
what
you
these guys
want
are
an
all saying,
ordinance,
right?
We'll get an
Okay,
ordinance.
We
yeah.
don't need an ordinance to do it, we're just, because there, we
Yeah,
didn't
but
have
I
an
mean, I'm
ordinance to
saying if
do
you
it.
wanna do it, we can, we'll get an ordinance, but if you don't want to,
We
you
don't
don't want
want to- we're not gonna do it, is that my
Okay.
understanding? All right, Jenny?
Stop.
Okay, so it's not gonna happen anymore, so that's done.
So does that mean that the water gets shut off on the 16th then if you don't pay your bill by the 16th? Is that
No,
what that?
she still goes by the ordinance, they just don't get an
extension.
extension to come up and say, I don't have the money today, but I'll have it in 10 days, so will you not turn me off for 10 days?
Can they pay a little bit, and then they get like that, pay so much of it?
We ask them
That's
to,
what I say, they try to pay some of it, then they,
we ask them to, if they can, pay
I
some.
don't think the council allows that, I don't believe it's where it counts.
I didn't know
I
what
believe
to
it's
do.
gotta be paid on
I
for,
don't know what to do. I don't
because it
know.
messes the books up,
So.
Yeah, well,
it makes it hard on her.
Yeah,
We noticed 2 water leaks this week, and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. We had a smart meter down on 623 George Street, and Bill had turned it off on September the 5th, did a work order. When they were driving by, they noticed there was a ton of water in the yard. We go up there, somebody had raised the window, like they've been squatting there, went in through what looks like they went in through the window. The water was turned on, the water on December the 15th, when it got cold, the water froze, it busted, and 25,000 gallons of water was lost. And we don't know how the water got turned on.
There's another one.
I called the homeowner, it's a rental, and they're like, we gave you guys specific directives to turn it off. We have a work order that clearly states that it was turned off on the 5th. And then there
Did you
was
say
no
George
water usage up until
You did.
December the 15th. No, it's George Street, 623 George Street. And so,
It's that blue house.
yeah, we lost 20, and I mean, it's 5 guys, 5 brothers, and they were like, we shouldn't have to pay that bill. We clearly gave you guys directives to turn it off, and they did, and we did turn it off.
Don't authorize no more water for it.
Well, we pulled the meter this time, the meter's totally gone. Then we just noticed today, we went uptown on High Street, one of the buildings, 11, which is by Watson's Excavating, and there was water pouring out on the road, and we have now, at that, as Gina Duncan's, I think it's Gina Duncan's. Donna Duncan's, and we lost 130,000 gallons of water at this leak.
oh,
Now, here's the thing, we did approve last meeting to put that radio tower up on the water meter. We agreed to pay that $20,000 and how that will ping straight to the office when things like this happen, and we won't be losing this much water after that.
Where they gonna put the tower at?
They're gonna put it on the water tower.
I don't think he can do that, cause it's, but Harry.
Larry was just here, and he said as long as they use the braces that they give him, it will not affect
Agreed
the
order.
maintenance agreement.
That's
So,
reasonable.
yeah, I've been in contact with him. And then I needed to tell you about that too. Everybody's complaining that the water tower light is not functioning. John has been here 3 times. He said the tower was struck by lightning. He did change the bulbs and did all that stuff. It's still not functioning. It is under the maintenance plan. He is coming back sometime. He said it's gonna take 2 to 3 weeks to get the parts. He'll be back after that to fix it again. But he said to let the town know that we are not in a fly zone and we do not have to have by law lights on the water tower. So, just so that everybody doesn't.
FAA rule you do.
Huh?
FAA rule you do.
What's that mean?
It's your airlines,
Oh.
federal aviation.
So they're saying that we do.
Yes,
Well,
FAA
you would
rules.
think these guys as contractors, I mean, to run, they do all these water towers, you think they would know, but he said we absolutely do not.
And that's false because I work for.
I'm gonna give you his number and let you talk to him personally. Could you, just so that you
Sure.
tell him where you're getting your information?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Let's see what else is on there.
I need
No.
5 minutes for me to get time.
Okay, and then you know that little guy that keeps coming that wants to put a little shed on property and live in it? Well, I got a hold of John from, where is John from? John is from the Jay County Building Code, and he sent me this, and those sheds, the roof doesn't meet Indiana state guidelines, the insulation does not meet guidelines, the windows do not meet guidelines, and the flooring does not meet guidelines. So if anybody wants to do that, which we have purchased the book with all these laws in them, which I will share with you too, but unless they can comply with every one of these Indiana guidelines, they cannot be living in those
We have
kinds
no
of.
zoning, that's null and void.
No, these are Indiana laws.
Indiana building code does still apply, even if you don't have local zoning.
So they can't live in those
You ought to
unless
make-
they,
You ought to make a couple copies
I
so
will.
he could have one, cause
I will, I don't know, do you know him personally? Cause I don't know where he is or any of that. He hasn't been back to one of the
I
meetings.
seen him at the post office the other
He
day.
live in Redkey?
I couldn't answer that,
Okay.
but I did see him at the post office the other
Okay.
day, and I spoke to him, asked him how he was doing.
Well, I'll make a copy of this and leave one up for Gloria so that you, and I'll send you one, yeah. Cause this
Cause
is the
I
only
made a
one I
comment,
have.
have you got your other building yet? And he said, no, not yet.
Yeah, yeah, so it's not legal per the, unless he complies with all of the, it can be legal, Dave, if he can comply with every one of the Indiana codes. But they said, by doing that, you might as well build a regular home by the time you pay for all the costs to comply with one of those little buildings.
I thought he wanted to live in that building while he
did.
was building a home or making it into a home.
Build a garage in the home.
I know that he has a sick wife too, right, is the way I understand it. So all I'm saying is, as of now, he would have to comply, I'll send him to John at the J County Building Code, and he can deal with that, but I don't think it's legal. Okay, Walter Joe Newsom.
That was the
He's
one you
with
just
the
did,
That's
the camper,
Camper.
Oh, okay.
the one that had.
The one that I read the
Yeah.
papers on?
Mhm.
Okay.
That was
And then
20.
Deb Engel? Okay,
Here with the big mouth.
all right. Welcome.
Well, I've been here before. And of course, I still have traffic zooming down by my house constantly. A red truck today. My husband looked out there and I said, "That's a red truck, isn't it?" And he goes, "Yeah." So,
What street do you live on?
Main Street. They hit that stop
On the
sign.
east or
On the east.
Up by
Hit that
Harrison's,
stop
up by
sign and
Harrison's.
just,
That's stop sign.
I've sat there a few times. It's hard. They're gonna see me every time. But I have sat out there. I talked to the one
but the
lady,
old cop, what was his name?
Chance.
Zach,
or
Chance.
Zach.
No,
Ryan,
Todd.
Todd,
Ryan,
way back.
Ryan,
Ryan,
Ryan Skinner.
no, it was Debbie's husband. He just passed away.
Yeah, Donnie.
so you are still patrolling a lot
I've
more
been
to
on
try
that
to help with
street.
her traffic?
I've been on
He,
that street.
he sat back there by the creek.
Okay,
There's
perfect.
a little alleyway there. He used to
I had
sit
got
there.
permission from one of the homeowners. Their driveway sits off there a little bit, and to even sit back in their driveway. So.
Well, that's what- My husband said they can sit in our driveway. I said, but if they can see him, that he's gonna have to back, way back up here.
Yeah, that's
Or
the
sit
worst part about
in an
that.
unmarked car to watch who's doing it.
I'll talk to Chance too and see what Chance did.
Okay. Monica Clairday.
Oh, that wasn't done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you never answered that question about what if the people can't pay, the getting the fines? Are you gonna have them
The
arrested?
fines for campers?
No, for the water
For getting in the
meters.
pits.
For getting in and
pits?
open their, yeah.
You're not supposed to get in there.
Yeah, you're not supposed to get in there to begin with. I mean,
Well, I was
it
just
has to be
wondering,
a
you was talking
contract or
about
a time
fines, but
late.
if they can't afford to fine, why not put it, you're gonna spend a day in jail, the second offense would be 2 days
It's
in jail.
not that.
And the third offense would be 7 days in jail.
It's
Not
it's not that simple. What it would do is the town would file a theft on it, and then we'd go that route. I mean, and then they would go.
And from now on, we will be pulling the meters for those people who don't
That's
wanna
the best.
comply. We won't leave the meters in the ground and then they can't be stealing our water or
So-
the water.
So these people had lost, what do you say, 50,000 gallons down on George Street? And you pulled five brothers?
That was
five
30,000
So you
gallons.
pulled the meter, right?
Yes,
So, once they come back, got the house fixed, how you gonna, they went to water turned, then what do you do?
then Bill goes and puts the meter back on.
Once just have to pay the bill, that's for the house.
Yeah, but they had it shut off, Dave. They paid to I mean, they called the city building.
yeah.
They did a work order. We, as the town, went down and shut it off.
But it's
They
not our
shouldn't be
place,
liable for
it's not
that.
our place to secure their property.
We should not have to pay, they should not have to pay that bill.
I disagree with you.
How can you make them pay a bill when they called us and had us shut it off and we assured them it was turned off? And somehow a smart meter gets put in and somehow the water meter gets on.
Somebody turned them off.
Exactly. But it wasn't them, they don't live around here. 5 guys that aren't even from here.
I know that.
So they didn't turn it on.
Okay. I'm just saying that we're giving away water.
But with the 130,000 gallons, I know that Billy's gonna do an adjustment, but here's the thing. We do not adjust them down, I mean, when it's on their side, this is what I'm asking you, we don't adjust them down to their normal water bills. They're still required for some of that bill, right? Because it was on their end. That's what our water ordinance says. Am I clear? Am I understanding that?
Yeah.
Do you understand that, Billy? You don't adjust them down to their normal water bills. They're
No.
still responsible for some of this payment.
I was trained this way, this is how I was trained. You take the last 3 bills, not the one that's leaking, the last 3, add them up, divide it by 3, and that's their new bill. That's how I was trained.
Adjustments, that's adjustments.
That's what they told me.
So that means that they wouldn't have to pay any of the loss of that 130, right? So say somebody's normal bill is 95, right? So you take that times 3,
And divide it by, add it up,
that's
And then divide it by
$285 and then divide it by 3.
which is 95.55, that's what
Yeah.
their new bill will be.
So it would be right back down to their normal bill.
That's
And
what
then they're
they
not
want.
responsible for any of the water loss whatsoever. That
That's
can't
just
be
what I
right.
was trained, I don't
Town
know.
will be losing money.
Yeah, tons of money.
Pam just told me that's what Pam told me.
Well, we need to look at our water ordinance. We need to call Keystone and
Keystone told me that too.
that's how Keystone does it?
Yes. They told me the last 3 bills, not this one, the last 3, add them up, divide it by 3, and that's their new bill.
Okay, so when we had the water audit done, they said that we lost $90,000 worth of water last year. We can't keep, and it's gonna be worse than that if we keep eating costs like this.
Well, you got people that leave too, that just don't pay it. We don't do nothing about that. I had probably 15 tickets.
Do you
in
have
the
any
door.
insight or anything that you can tell me what we should look into or do for this kind of situation? Because we should, we do have a water ordinance and I need to read it and understand it a little better.
You have about 5 water ordinances,
I know.
so.
But is
They're
there
all
one
different
state-
dated, I tried to put them in order in that binder for you.
I'll look into it. I mean, there are other towns where it stays as a lien on that property, and even if it's vacant 5 years, when the new person buys it, they have to pay off all the back fees before it'll be reconnected and started again.
Right.
I'm not necessarily saying that's a best practice, but that is the way other communities handle it.
So we'll just let you look into it and you can give us benefits from there. I'd appreciate that.
So what I do in the meantime,
In the meantime, we're gonna look at the water ordinance. I'll go up there and help look at that and we'll call Keystone again together so that we can understand what we do. But I know in previous council meetings before us, they would bring the bills and say that we were adjusting it, and some of these people were still paying $700 and $800 on these big bills, so I'm not for sure how you're getting yours. I mean, can you still get a hold of Pam to see how they did it?
Pam's the one that told me that.
Pam is? Okay, all right, well, we'll figure something out.
Yep.
Okay, I had a question about my water bills, not the fact that it's the money. It said 0 to 323 equaled up to 2,220 gallons. How did you come up with that?
Do you know what she's
I
talking
never
about,
got,
Lily? Because I don't
got a
see
meter
it.
readout when they changed the meters.
Are you a smart meter?
Yep.
So it would be in the,
Yeah.
it would be in the system.
When they put it to smart meter, it goes into 0, that's what they told me today. It goes.
The smart meter, on the smart meter side, but not under the
Old one.
old meter, right?
Do they read the old meter out?
They do, they read the old meter out and she puts that number in and then she puts
The new
0
one.
for the smart meter from that day and it takes the old meter reading and the end of the smart meter reading. Say there's 10 days. Say that you still had an old meter up until 10 days before we read again. So it would take that next 10 days and apply it to the smart meter. And I don't know, that's all on Keystone. I don't know how to read those numbers. I mean, I don't understand the numbers. We're still learning it.
Yeah.
And Scott, the meter guy, is helping us learn it. But I can, at any given time, bring the laptop down, run a graph test on your water, and every 15 minutes of the last 3 months, I can show you exactly how much water you used every 15 minutes for the last 3 months.
Yeah, because like today, I'll give you an example. A lady called in and her water bill was high. And we looked, Heather helped me, we looked, and from November the 20th until December 7th, she was using 500 and 600 gallons a day. And she said she didn't have a leak. And I said, well, you're using it. It's on the smart meter. Well, when her husband came in, he told us that when he went by the outside of the house, he seen puddles of water and somebody had left
The outside spigot on?
Spigot on. But that showed, those meters showed, like here's her scale, then it goes way up like this for those 17 days. Because it shows exactly how much you use a day.
The meters are so sophisticated that when I pull it up on the graph, it can show me how often your toilet plunger stays up, how long it stays up and goes down, how much water you use from a faulty toilet
I know,
flush.
she says I got mine set too low.
You just want to make sure it closes, because if it drips at all in the night, your water bill will be up and you will be upset about that. But I can graph that and show you if you have a sink leaking, a toilet leaking. I don't know which one it is, but I can tell you that one of them is leaking for sure from that graph. Now, when we put that radio tower up, it'll just go straight to them and we won't have to go around with the laptop and do that. You can go right up to the water office, they can pull off a report and give it to you and show you. So the ARP money that we had left, after the $20,000 and after the truck, we have $6,000. But when Scott quoted me on the radio tower, the $20,000, he did not incorporate the installation. So the installation can be anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. We have $6,000 left to put towards that, which we have to say that we're gonna use it by December the 31st. So I just need a motion to go ahead and use that last of that ARP $6,000 to put towards the installation of that radio tower that we voted last month to go ahead and put up.
I make a motion to use that money.
Because that's the last of the ARP money and we have to have it noted by December the 31st. And you second it? Dave, all in favor? Aye. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have? Oh, wait.
Yeah, these were the only two things I was asking about. When you let your dog outside, if you're not watching what they're doing and they're going into your neighbor's yard and stuff, that's against the rules, right?
Yes, it
Because I've
is.
got a neighbor that does that. My dogs are fenced in, right outside my door and around the pool.
If they don't stay in your yard, they must be on a leash.
And they come over in the yard and they act like they're gonna try to kill my dogs.
Well, then we need to be reporting that to John.
You call up there, Gloria or Billy calls me, and I go out there.
Yeah.
Well, I heard him out the other day, but I didn't see him in the yard.
So I guess all I'm asking is with the smart meters that people use patience with us, because we can read the meters from the 17th to the 21st. We haven't been consistent because we've been waiting on the smart meter guy who has a busy schedule, who has been teaching us how to, you have to import, go read, export, import, export again, just to get these things so that they come off of the laptop, out of the sky, and into Keystone. So they go out of Neptune into Keystone so that they can conjure or get the bills done. And so we haven't been reading on the same day. We're getting better now that we're learning the program, and it's just trial and error. If anybody has questions, I would be happy to do everything that I can to get them to understand why their bill is the way it is. I just need patience.
You said that you were losing water. Can you tell how much water from the people's use?
Oh yeah, I can tell you how many gallons you use every 15 minutes of every single day.
Everybody in town. Can you
Everybody.
tell us it's
Yeah.
matching
Well,
up?
Everybody has a smart.
At the water plant, Ted has a mag meter and it tells us how much water we use every single day. Correct, Ted?
Correct.
And then I don't know if that number right now is meeting up with the numbers on Keystone, if that's what you're asking. But at a point, we will be able to tell that. But we're not there yet because half of the town is smart meters right now and the other half is still on the wands because it's too cold to open the meter pits to do the rest of them. But they will get those done by next year and then we'll be better.
And when do you want to ask now?
Yeah, my bill's doubled, and we're not using any more water than we were before.
And what's your name?
Monica.
Monica, I can show you, if you go up to the city building tomorrow, she can run you off a report, because I already did the meter read for hers. And there's a report on the computer.
Mine was double again this month.
Okay.
Double last month, double this month.
I mean, I can't remember what hers looked like, but I don't know if she,
They
do you have,
6,000 gallons.
have you checked your toilet flaps and all that stuff too? Okay.
Yeah, Mingo and I efficiency toilet.
Right, well, if you go up there tomorrow, she can print you off a report and show you exactly what time of the day you're using more, and you can say, hey, we're not there at that time, and we can try to narrow it down to what's happening, okay?
Yeah, she said she sent him out today, there's no leak on your end.
Yeah, because when I looked at yours, I noticed towards the holidays, there was a lot more use, like Thanksgiving time, so we'll look at it together. We'll look at it together, so I can try to figure out what's wrong with yours.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any further questions?
I got something I want to say to Rich, Jim. Go.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go.
Sure. This year's out of the paper. Now, last year, Ramadan Holdings LLC, 9885 West High 67. They got a $93,182 10-year tax abate from the Redkey City Council. And then Fisher Packing, the same address and everything, they got $117,780 from the Redkey Town Council. This was last year. Now this year here, Ramadan is getting $141,120 for 10 years. And then the Fisher Packing is getting $347,390 for 5 years. And I don't remember giving them that kind of money for the tax breaks. This
Is
year,
that EDIC, do they have, I mean, does JCDC have something to do with that?
JCDC usually comes to you guys and presents the tax.
So they're the ones that come up with that number and then they come to us to get that.
I believe Trish was brought up on the board, and we all agreed to it. They didn't show up, I believe they sent it to us.
I think,
Except what?
I think
Okay.
they-
They submitted a
tax
resolution to
abatement.
you for a tax abatement.
Yeah, somebody from the
Have to be
company was here.
Yeah, we
Well,
did tell them that, but when he was here, I thought he only asked for $1,500.
last year, they gave them a 5-year tax abatement, started last year. They gave them a 10-year tax abatement, started last year. Then this year, they want another 5-year tax abatement for another 5 years, but they just got one last year for 5 years and 10 years, okay. Now then this year, they want a $340,000 tax abatement, $347,390 tax abatement for 5 years again.
So how do we get to the bottom of understanding that, Mark? Who do I call to come to the meeting to,
Fishers.
it wouldn't just be Fishers, it would be,
Okay.
Travis and Jody could explain it to you.
but Travis has resigned, so,
He's still working part-time.
alright.
Okay,
Call
now then,
Jody and then she can probably explain it to you too.
Brenda, me and you went to that guy 3 or 4 times.
Yes,
this
we
night,
did.
And I went to the town board meeting with the
Yes.
fire department of that part, but anyway.
To the EDIC
The
meeting.
EDIC meeting, but in 2020, all right, here's what happened. They started out with the $162,685.23.
The EDIC,
The EDIC,
What year?
this is in 20.
okay.
Okay, they wrote a check for somebody for $75,000. Now, we're paying $962.22 for taxes to the Jake County, Treasurer of Jake County. For that year,
We're paying it?
we're paying it.
Okay,
Redkey's a paying it. Okay, then in 21, the taxes was $812.40 paid by the treasurer to Jake County. All right, they're getting 127.21, they got $10,308.34. February the 8th, they got $10,298.34. February the 25th, they got $11,816.66. March the 26th, they got $4,882.95. For April the 12th, 20, they got $700. May the 27th, 21, they got $9,675.
who's
June
they?
the 25th, 21, $8,299.
What's your point, Jimmy? Let's move along. What's your point?
6/27/21, they got $8,301. 8/27, they got $18,567.
But you can't read every one of those. What is the
I've got
whole
3 more
purpose
to
of
go.
this? Okay.
10/27, they got $1,050. November the 29th, 21st, they got $1,457. December the 27th, 21st, they got $15,868.62. Where's this money coming from?
Okay, here's the thing I do want the attorney to look into. We went to the EDIC meeting, okay? Jimmy and I did at the fire department. All of the questions questions that we asked in regards to where's the money coming from, how's the money going out, we were told that it was all proprietary, that we were not allowed to have any of that information. And I got a hold of county commissioners and other people that said that that is absolutely not true. We don't have a mayor in our town, so that we are the arbitrators or the executives over the EDIC, and that we are allowed to, and entitled to have information on that. So can you please check into that to see if we are allowed to have information on that and why? I mean, we didn't even get any of this information that Jimmy has over there, except for there was an audit by the State Board of Accounts, and they asked for this information, and then they gave it to us. But we asked for this information for over a year, and we were denied information from the EDIC, which I think is crud. Because we are entitled to know where our taxpayer monies are going. And they're over all of the land that Redkey owns. We the taxpayers should know this information. Go ahead, Mark.
That's not even close to being accurate.
Say what you gotta say.
We are not over all of the land that Redkey owns.
You guys
Redkey
will
Economic
loan it
Development
out to
Corporation.
investments who want to come here and
We own a section of land out in the industrial
who's
park.
we?
The Redkey Economic Development Corporation.
So the town of Redkey.
Redkey development.
Yeah, but that's different than the town-owned property that's like the parks and where the fire department sits and all that.
Okay, you
So the
own it
town
because
owns
you
that
guys
stuff.
bought it with your money. Whose
I
money
have-
bought the property?
So that goes back to that edit tax that we talked about at that meeting.
Right.
So it's a 0.25% on income tax. That
Edit
goes
tax
from,
goes to Gloria, to this town, and then the town gives it to you guys to
right,
utilize.
it's a yes, it's a pass-through tax from the state to the county to the town to RADC.
So, but why would it come to the town if the town didn't have access to it, and then the town gives it to you guys because we trust you guys to do whatever you have to do with it?
That might be more of a question for her. I'm assuming that's just the statute of how it gets to us.
Well, I guess if you would answer those questions for Jimmy, he would
Why
finally
are
be
we
able to
paying the
provide.
taxes? Why are we paying the taxes? That's all.
I'm not sure what he's talking about, to be able to even try to answer with
Property
those questions.
taxes.
So you'll just look into it to see if we have the rights to have information to the EDIC. That's it. Does anybody else have any further questions?
Yeah,
You, sir.
I think so.
Wait, wait, hang on.
So what are you doing with the street department, application, which is me?
Are you Mr. Gore?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, hello. He's gonna set up.
Everybody else up there knew.
I didn't know who you were, sir. I apologize. He's gonna set up, interview dates for soon, like, right, in the first week
Just
or so, the second.
Anytime after
first-
you said anytime after 6, Dave?
Yeah.
And then after we do the interviews, then we have to have, that's an executive meeting, then we have to have another public meeting to hire someone. So, as soon as he gets the.
With you, that's what tonight was for.
And because of the circumstances, it didn't get done, and that I do apologize for. So, you're gonna work on getting an interview for the next week?
Yeah. Well, you said you wanted to wait after the holiday.
You don't wanna wait till after the
That's
first?
different though. He's street department, he's police.
Well, it's actually a utility department. It's a utility,
Street, water.
yes, so it's not just street, I wanna
Can
clarify.
we hire him tonight?
We can't hire him tonight, we haven't even interviewed him.
He just got up, we interviewed.
Hopefully it works, yeah.
So, you're gonna, I want you to keep, contact with him and tell him when you're gonna do it so that we can get this man, some information to be hired.
Give me 1 second.
Alright, Dave?
Hey, Gloria, I got a question for you.
Yes.
When was the last time I was at the city building? 6 months, 8 months ago?
I can't remember, Dave.
So has it been 6, 8 months? What's fair estimation?
This is December, and the first 3 or 4 months, probably March, April. I'd say April or May, I don't know.
Okay. Mara, I'm gonna show you something.
I don't know, I'm just guessing.
This was left in my mailbox right here, and I don't think it has anything to do with this town, but it's mud on a particular person on the town board. What was that doing in my mailbox?
David,
Somebody
please,
put it there.
let me, if
Oh,
you
you mean the
spent,
mailbox up there? No, you haven't been up there. He got your mail and
That's
brought it
exactly right.
to
Floyd brought all this to me and
you.
Floyd's
We
got
got
a copy of
mailboxes
it
at
too.
the office.
it's public knowledge, Dave, Jimmy's
I-
daughter figured it out,
Why,
and
did you get this, Jimmy? About Mr.
I
Grady?
don't know what you're talking about, let me see it.
It's a rest,
well, we shouldn't be talking about that,
This is
about
public-
our.
it's public
our-
information,
It
right?
is, but we shouldn't be bringing it up
Right
in a
here,
board meeting.
right
like
here,
that.
is where it was generated from. That's the phone, come on.
way it is all the time.
Do you mind saying that name for me?
There's always tons of stuff.
Cannot even read that, Dave.
It says, Trinity, K-R-E-A-D-E-R. You know it, Brenda?
No,
Well, you don't.
no,
You
who
don't
is
know.
it? No, who is it?
It's your niece.
It hit my niece, Dave.
It's come off her phone. And this is in my mailbox. Who generated it? There's only two people. It's her or you put in my mailbox.
I'm leaving because I am so sick since Dave got voted out.
Get out of here. You're not
President,
going to go.
No.
and Brenda
Nothing
took
to tell her
over,
to leave.
then
No,
he's
Mr.
making it hell
She's a
for the
taxpayer.
town of Redkey.
She
And we shouldn't have
Town
to listen
runs
to him.
this meeting.
Dave,
He comes
you
in
spend
here,
enough time
he
doing
comes
your
in
job
here
as a
mad,
council member
he has
instead
a
of
chip
creating
on
havoc.
his
We would
shoulder
have a
every
great
time.
Boo-hoo,
And then you
boo-hoo,
leave
boo-hoo.
that way.
Boo-hoo.
But no, I'll
Goodbye,
still
goodbye,
come.
goodbye,
You're not
goodbye.
gonna keep me from coming. But you need to settle down and get along with people, Dave.
I don't have to do anything.
Just 'cause you're not president no more, and you're holding it against everybody.
illegally, so.
Now, you're just full of crap, and you lie all the time.
Well, I do. This
Yes,
light.
you do.
This light right here.
Hey Dave, what are you pointing me for? What did I do?
Well, it's coming in the office. This is in my mailbox. Who put it in there?
Why would I do that? I don't even know what it is.
Who put it in there? Brenda?
We don't know.
I did not put that in your mailbox, but I can tell you, it is public knowledge. Jimmy and I have talked about it because it came.
Why did you put it in my
I
mailbox?
did not
before?
put that in your
I'm just
mailbox,
asking you.
Dave.
Did you put it in there?
No, I did not put it in your
So you got
mailbox.
access to my mailbox.
Everybody has access to your
Everybody
mailbox.
walks into that building. and
Every
finds my
cop has access to your
Yes.
mailbox, every
Mr.
council
K,
member has.
Mr. K, did you put this in my mailbox? Arrest records?
No.
Hey, you didn't
But
ask me. I didn't know
but if you had something,
Billy?
I never even seen it.
yeah,
I
do
don't
you
know
have
what it is.
access to Dave's mailbox?
Yeah, I have access. Whenever they're in the office, I technically have access. I walk past your mailbox.
Did you put this in my mailbox?
No.
Then who did?
Well, I don't know, Dave.
I
We
think
had
you do. I think
ghosts.
you did, Brenda.
No, Dave,
I
I
think
did
you
not
did.
put that in your mailbox.
Well, this has got your name all over it.
That came to my attention and it was addressed by the RNC chair and all of that stuff. So I don't know how it got in your mailbox, but
We'll see
I didn't put it
We'll
there.
see what Attorney General office thinks.
Doesn't matter.
Well, okay, it's public knowledge, so what is he gonna say about it,
Why did
Dave?
you put it in my mailbox?
I
To
did
stir
not put
trouble.
it in your mailbox. to
You
stir
say I was
trouble.
stirring trouble? Right there.
I did not put it in your mailbox, Dave.
Mailbox see this?
Did you call our committee, did you call this here town board a corrupt government? Did you do that?
I didn't say anything about it, Jimmy.
It's in the paper, newspaper.
So what you claim, Jimmy?
All right, you filed
What's
your
your
claim
point,
down
Dave?
there with the state.
You right.
All right.
And you violated this board, and you violated the quorum law, Jimmy.
Wait a minute, you filed one and I filed one, but I never did hear from mine, but I was on the phone. And you know what? I can show you the newspapers where you call us a corrupt government.
Everything that Dave has filed has
Let's
been
go get
found
the lawyers.
unsubstantiated.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it
You
has.
violated an open door
We
policy.
can say,
No.
You took action in
No.
executive meeting,
No.
Brenda.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No,
Yeah, you
Dave.
did.
Everything you filed.
You just
Everything
called out.
filed has been found
I don't-
unsubstantiated.
I don't-
Everything.
Okay, I need for you guys to sign
Madam
this.
President, I'll call the meeting back to order and finish public comment and whatever else is on the agenda.
I do have one
Oh, all I
question.
said was order. I didn't say we ended.
Gloria,
What?
remember, was that was an agenda about Roger Clay?
No, that was just a
Okay.
complaint.
So, does anybody else have any comments? Meeting adjourned.
I need you,
Gotta
okay.
tell you that, the adjourn the meeting.
What?
We paid them money.
No, you did
All
not.
the same. All the- yeah. I need
Could you
to
just
sign.
update that you do
Brenda?
not have to have a motion to adjourn a meeting unless the agenda has not been completed, right?
As long as the claims has been, as long as the claims has been approved.
Did we-
No, as long as the
All
agenda has
the
been
two was
done.
approved.
That's what Mara said.
Okay, I need you guys to sign some papers before you leave. please, sign next to the,
Did we, talk about
Huh? We did not talk about it and it's already closed. I am sorry. I apologize.